Welcome to Life with Beth and Court,
where we teach you how to live authentically and build your best life.
one step at a time. Welcome to Life with Beth and Court. I'm Beth.
I'm Court.
And today we are talking about fall and Halloween spirit. So, Court, do you remember what you used to dress up as a child during Halloween?
I think from age 3 to maybe first grade. Yeah, that sounds accurate. I was a ghost, which was...
Wait, did you just say, what were those grades?
It depends. Am I being judged right now?
No, I blacked out.
I think it was from 3 to like kindergarten. Is that a long time span?
No, that's not long.
Like
that's
a
2
few
years.
years.
I don't know
Yeah.
why. My mind just flipped that. I thought you said from 3rd to 8th grade. I don't know why.
Oh, no. I remember the sheet would go over my head and Mom would hold it to my face and draw it with a Sharpie around
This
the
sounds
eyes.
like a hostage situation, the way
No.
you're describing it right now.
No, so she would trace the eyeballs, cut it out, put it over me, and I think it's so I could dress warm underneath, like I could wear whatever. And then
She cut a new sheet every single year?
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just traumatized by the first one going over my
Yeah,
head.
I mean,
and
if you were 3 when it
Right.
happened, maybe.
Right. So then first grade, I was a ballerina or a cow. No, my
Those
sister.
are two very different things.
My sister was the cow. I was the ballerina. And then second grade, I was Jasmine. And I can't remember which time I peed my pants. It might have been Jasmine and the Native American.
You peed your pants twice?
I think I peed my pants more than that because I remember in preschool I was like 4 and I peed my pants in my sweatsuit with my yellow duck on it. It was a green sweatsuit with a yellow duck. You're laughing. I was crying in the bathroom by myself.
I'm trying to
Visualize it.
I'm trying to mentally accept that outfit.
The reason I peed my pants one time or both times
This is great for our neighbors. I'm loving this so far.
was because it was my turn to change in the bathroom. And I had this fear of other people hearing me pee. And now that I'm unlocking that memory, I remember even at home I had a hard time. So Mom would teach me to turn on the water. So like you couldn't hear the peeing because there was water. And I couldn't reach the sink because they were individual stalls. And there were other girls in there like laughing and changing. So I couldn't pee. And then I just peed my pants when we were doing the parade to all of the classrooms. I held it as long as I could, and then I definitely peed my pants. And then I think I was like maybe a little older than I should have been to pee my pants, so I didn't have extra clothes. And my mom had to bring me jeans, and she forgot my underwear, so I had to go commando in jeans the rest of the day.
Well, I had a similar situation, except my mom's the one who peed her pants.
Oh!
Yeah.
So similar.
Yeah. And when I was in 6th grade.
Anyway, that was my Halloween as a child. How was yours?
I mostly just dressed as a hockey player, always. I think the one other costume that I remember was I was Tim the Toolman Taylor, and
Stop.
I will not. And I collected candy in my papa's empty saw case.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was kind of heavy. It was a chainsaw case, so it was big, and I would open it up at every single door.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of childhood horrifying memories, my best friend growing up, we were neighbors, and her dad would put on these haunted houses every year for their friends, and he would build them like in his garage and make a maze, and he would try to make it scarier and scarier every year.
I loved those houses when it was just a garage.
Right.
Yeah.
And he would test things on us, and the one time he hung fishing wire from the ceiling, and then he told us to walk in, and we did, and we thought we were being attacked by cobwebs, and we started crying and ran back out.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
your haunted house as a child was just fishing wire?
It was, and then there was a thing where Scream, the movie, was a thing, and all of our parents would wear the mask and jump out at each other.
Did your parents hate you?
No, they would try to scare each other.
You guys are just collateral damage when your parents were trying to scare each other.
Yeah. So anyway, it was like Halloween year round for a while when that stuff was going on. But flash forward to our adult lives, haunted houses.
I hate haunted houses. When I was in high school, a couple of my friends were monsters at a haunted house in this town that was like in the middle of nowhere, but it was about 20 minutes from where we went to high school. So they were like, you guys should come out and go through the haunted house. And I was like, I hate haunted houses, but I like you guys, so I'll come out. So we went out, and it was literally like an old farmhouse on a bunch of acreage, and it was filled with monsters and scary rooms. They did a very great job with it, and this was back when you could like physically touch people. Monsters aren't allowed to touch anymore. But there's
PSA.
You're only allowed to scare, no touch. But so yeah, I was going through the haunted house, and I almost hit a couple monsters with my fist. And then there was one room where there's bunk beds, and the monsters, some beds had real humans on them that would jump up at you. Some had humans underneath the beds that would grab your ankles.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
Almost
Covering
kicked a couple
all
of them.
The bases.
Yeah,
Got
almost
it.
kicked a couple of them right in the teeth. And then some were just dummies laying on the bed. But it was dark and it was foggy. They had the fog machines going, and the bunk beds were all set up in a maze, so you couldn't find the outside. You couldn't find the exit to the room, so you had to walk through and walk close to all these monsters. So anyway, I got through that thing as fast as I possibly could. And at the end, we were all, hanging out with the monsters because my friends were monsters there. And the people who organized it were like, the people who hate haunted houses are actually the best monsters. You should come be a monster for us. I said yes, only for one night. But then it actually got fun because I got to scare all the popular kids at school, and they didn't know who I was. I was a doll. I had a doll face on, and I sat in a rocking chair covered in stuffed animals. I was in a scientist lab with a bunch of baby doll heads in jars and like electricity sounds. No one thought it was real because I would sit so still in the corner, and I would reset the stuffed animals every time I would scare them. So everyone's like, no, that doll doesn't move because it can't. There's all those stuffed animals on it. And I'd pop up and scare the shit out of them. And I would start out laughing, and then I would go, my name's Molly. My name's help me.
That's where
help
that
me.
came from.
And then I would drop to the ground and start crawling towards them. And I've never seen grown men almost cry. And I knew them, but they couldn't see who I was because I had a mask on. And so I would say, Landon, help me.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he
that's messed up.
lost his mind all in like I would go up before there was another group of people, and we were all dressed in black except for whatever costumes we put on over it or masks or whatever. And so I would go up, I would survey the faces in the crowd, and if I knew who was coming in, I'd run throughout the house and tell all the monsters the names of the people. So as they would go through the house, the monsters would jump out and be like, Amber! And they would flip out, and they're like, how do you know my name? And so by the time they got to me, they were already pissing themselves. So as soon as I sat up, they would crumble to the ground as grown humans and basically be weeping. I felt sad for them sometimes, but
it doesn't sound like you did.
I mean, I'll tell you what. There at the end, there was marble jars, and you were supposed to put a marble in the jar of the scariest monster, and I won all 3 nights.
Wow.
So there was one time when, whenever there was a break in people, they were supposed to go throughout the house and tell all the monsters, hey, we can take a break. Well, they forgot about me, and I forgot about me. I fell asleep, and where I was positioned, there was a disappearing and reappearing Dracula. So I fell asleep because it's late. It's a haunted house, so it was like midnight. I fell asleep. I woke up to a reappearing Dracula, no idea where I was, and I lost my mind. And I was like, what are all these baby dolls on me? And I flipped them all off. And I was trying to run through the house, and I kind of woke up as I was running. It was terrible.
I feel like that might be karma, what happened at the end. And all I could keep thinking through your story is, who finds the stats? Where are the statistics on people who are scared easily at haunted houses make the best monsters?
Probably the people trying to make me a monster.
Right. I think
it worked.
I think
though.
they got you.
Yeah.
I remember 2 that we specifically went to together. And what's really funny is you're scared of everything. I'm not.
I'm not scared of everything.
I mean, like when it comes to scary things.
I don't like spiders.
Well, okay. I have to watch Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, the scary one, with the volume down, and you have to go to the other room.
Oh, yeah, that's because it's up.
Right.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's our natural dynamic day to day. Like, if there's a spider, I have to kill it. If something scary is going on, I have to take care of it. Yet, when we go to haunted houses, which I insist that you go to with me and drag you to with me, I freak out, and you're the one that's like, let's go. Like, you go into this weird, it's almost like when a Power Ranger turns into a Power Ranger, and you're like, we need to go this way, and we need to take this path. And that's not real, and that's not scary.
Yeah, that's I think that's, when they say that you have 2 responses is fight or flight.
Right.
I'm a fight.
And I'm a flight.
And so as soon as someone's trying to scare me, I think my way of my mind diffusing it is I look them right in their scary, gross faces and I say, you're not real. And then I just go quickly.
I remember the one that we went to at the Kingsley Ghost Farm with Amber and Bree. And that was intense because you weren't contained in anything. Like
that one was scary.
You weren't in a safe space, like knowing that you're protected. And it was all through the woods. And so my immediate fear, right? Like all the crime shows and murder mysteries and all of that stuff I enjoy watching. I'm like, there's going to be a real psycho out here. Like someone
for sure.
is going to be hiding that's not supposed to be hiding. And this isn't fun anymore because someone's really going to be murdered and it's going to be really bad.
I remember that guy, he had the chainsaw without the chain on it. And I kept saying, you stop it. You stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
That actually, when I was 16, I loved Halloween so much that my birthday is in January, but my mom knew that I loved Halloween. So she's like, tell you what, you can do a birthday party in January and have a sweet 16, or you can have a Halloween party in October and call that your sweet 16. So naturally, I chose the latter. And Ruben, the same one who would build the haunted houses with fishing wire and test on us, we had him get in on it. And we grew up, our house was in the middle of the woods. So we sat around the bonfire. Oh my gosh, I'm laughing so hard, but it was so terrible. Okay, so we sat around the bonfire. And
you laughed once and then you go, I'm laughing so hard.
I am on the inside. So me and my friends, probably like 14 of us, and I don't remember who they were, so I apologize if you had to go to counseling after what I'm about to describe. My job was to tell the scary story of the man who escaped the insane asylum up the road, because we really did have an elderly group home up the road, and they really would run away and come to our door. So that part was real. Anyway, my job was to tell them that recently someone had gotten out and they couldn't find him and ask if they had seen it on the news, right? So we're telling this story and everyone's freaked out. Meanwhile, Ruben is out in the woods with a chainsaw, with no blade on it, no chain on it, dressed in all black with camouflage all over his face.
As you do.
What nightmares are made of.
Right.
So I did such a good job of telling the scary story. After I was supposed to get them to go for a walk in the woods to go find him, no one would move. Like, no one would get up from around the fire. They were like, absolutely not. And I was like, come on, guys. Like, it'll be really fun. Come on. We all had flashlights.
First of all, that's a terrible plan. Like, hey, let's tell a scary story and then convince people to split up and go into the night.
Well,
why did you think that was going to work?
Because that's my version of fun, so I got confused. Anyway, so we finally go out in the woods, and there's a trail that goes out behind our house, probably to 5 or 6 acres of land, and cell phones were a thing. We all had our cell phones. And so the goal was to get them to a certain point so he could come behind us with the chainsaw. So you either had to run into the woods or run into the woods, unless you were going to get chopped up by a chainsaw dude that was behind you. I believe he was making duck call noises, or like he had something for hunting that made scary noises. And
scary noise, a duck scary noise.
Maybe. I don't know. All I know is I knew what was happening. And when I heard the chainsaw go off and he put the flashlight under his face, I lost my mind. Everyone starts screaming. I start panicking. And I'm trying to rationalize, like, Courtney, you know this isn't real. Snap out of it. You know what's happening. We play it all out. And at the end, we're like trying to find if everyone's okay. Some people are out in the woods, like so far gone you can't even see them. Other people are crying. Someone tripped and like scraped their leg on a stick because he would get close to them and run the chainsaw up their leg. And they didn't know that the chain was on, so all they could feel was the vibration. So, we had to recover everyone and find everyone's cell phones, and no one would leave the house the rest of the night. Like, everyone went inside and would not leave the house. And even after we told them it was a prank, they didn't believe us. And one kid called it was my little sister's friend, called his mom to come pick him up because
I would too. Bunch of
believe
crazy asses.
It wasn't real.
And did you consider this a success?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I think it was pretty good.
How are you such a terrible human and such a good human all at once?
I'm not really sure, but I just had an idea.
Yeah.
I think it would be hilarious, like on Ellen, where we go through a haunted house and then someone records it and films it.
I don't think I'm funny though. I think I get scary because I get very like, we're marching through. Do you remember the very first time we went through a haunted house together and I was like pulling your arm off trying to get you to come forward?
That was not fair. Okay, so you want to talk about, was it a success or too much? That was too much. They had us all go through a tunnel.
That is pretty much the only part of it that I remember. And that actually was scary and like I couldn't say you're not real because I actually felt the walls close in around me.
Right. So after we got out, I believe what they did was they took almost like giant, it wasn't tarps, it felt like garbage bags on both sides of you, and they filled them with air, so there was pressure, but the pressure was so tight you literally had to squeeze your way through it.
Oh God, I hated it.
And
I can feel it.
You couldn't move your head to either side, like you just had to put your face forward.
But you had no idea how long it was. It was dark.
Right. And for me, I had a hard time breathing. Right? Because
there was also 7 of us in there.
Right. So we all locked hands and were pulling each other through. But it went on for a really long time. And do you remember the girl who went back because she had a panic attack?
No.
She was behind us.
I like blacked out and like ran through it. I was about to let all you go because I was like, you either coming forward with me now at a fast pace or I'm letting go.
She was right behind us, like as we were going in. Or no, maybe she was in front of us. Like she had just started to go in and she came out and was crying and having a panic attack. And they're like, it's okay, you're safe. It's okay, you're safe. And she's like, I can't breathe. Like it was really bad. So we knew going in like, okay, whatever's about to happen is super intense. And it did. Like it went on for way too long.
I think it was just that it went on. I think those boys are trying to spin around and then run straight, by the way. It went on too long. Like it should have been like the length of your arm span, especially because we couldn't see.
Yeah.
Also, I think it made it worse because there was so many of us that I think there's probably supposed to be some space that was allowed in there, but there was more humans.
Right.
So it wasn't allowing the suction part to release. And so it was just, I don't know, it was probably about 10 feet. I think.
I feel
10 feet of pitch blackness and the walls closing in around you. I did not like that. And that was the only part that I really was about to let y'all go and just run for my life.
Is that what it's like when we're born?
That is not where I thought this conversation was going.
I mean, that's where my head just went like, I wonder how that was. Anyway.
Probably not pleasant. I can't imagine.
The other thing that I remember, this was probably the best haunted house I had ever been to. It was at the fairgrounds in TC, probably 7 years ago. And as we were going through the haunted house, like it was everything that we knew, the normal stuff, we got through one part and they locked us all in a bathroom. And so normally you know where to go, right? Like you're like, okay, we need to go through here. Like you can see your exit strategy.
Right.
Like I just have to make it through here. And So they close us in this bathroom, and the shower curtain is closed, and of course there's blood all over it. And I'm like, if the way out is behind that shower curtain, I'm not opening it. And so literally we were stuck in there for so long. There was a tub with a shower curtain, a vanity like you would see in a bathroom with a mirror above it and like cabinets underneath. And then on the other side, it was like slatted wall. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but basically we could see out, and someone kept jabbing a knife in with a wolf face on. And I finally said, dude, how do we get out of here? Like, we've checked everywhere there is. We opened the shower curtain, like there's no trick wall. And I forget what he said, but he finally said something like, look low or go low. So you act like you are at your kitchen sink or your bathroom sink washing your hands in the mirror, and you have to open the cupboards underneath it and crawl through it.
Yeah, that's a little intense.
Yeah, so that was the only way out of the room. And then once
it's like an escape room.
Right. And once you were done crawling through it, on the other side, which reminds me of your story, it was a kid's bedroom, and there were lots of like giggling, laughing noises being made. And there was someone sitting in the corner who was dressed up like a doll and would jump out at you. But I just remember thinking, like, if someone was claustrophobic,
or if you couldn't bend down,
right?
Or like,
do you remember ever signing waivers? Like, do you ever sign
the one in the woods we did. Because I was like, oh hell no, this is like a serial killer's dream.
Right.
We're all like, not your fault if I die, and then you walk into the woods and anyone could be out there. I certainly don't feel like venturing out to any haunted houses this year.
You don't?
No.
But you know we're going to, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
You can venture to them.
Okay.
With our friends that like haunted houses.
Yeah.
I'll be on bodyguard patrol or something. Wear an earpiece.
Yeah, maybe. You just want to wear an earpiece.
I really do. Like one of the curly Q ones.
You always say that. You always specifically say one of the curly Q ones.
Because no one gives me one every time. I get walkies, I get cell phones, I get many things, but I never get a curly Q security earpiece.
What would you do with it?
I don't know. I'd talk into it or something.
There would be no one on the other end.
I want the walkies that go into your sleeve so I can talk into my sleeve and have a curly Q thing on my ear. Is that too much to ask for?
I mean,
you know what? I'm going to be an FBI agent for Halloween.
Just so you can have the curly Q.
Yep.
You probably look badass as an FBI agent.
Thanks. I don't think I'd ever be able to do it because I'd be too scared.
Yeah.
Like in video games, like when you would, in, what was that game? Halo?
007?
Or 007. I was the kid that when all the bad guys were around, I would just like sit in a corner and wait for them to go by and I'd shoot them.
What was that one show we tried to watch? And it was the first 3 minutes, and I could tell it
with
was
like Patricia Arquette.
Yes. Someone help us. Medium.
Help me.
Medium.
Yeah, Medium.
Because it had really good reviews, and everyone said great things about it. And Beth likes solving.
I like mysteries.
Yeah, but this was like
I don't like murders.
Psychics talking to dead people about how they were murdered. So literally, the intro comes on of the first of the pilot, and right away I'm like, ooh, this might be a little much. And like 3 minutes into it, I dive over and shut it off because I can see what's on the TV and she can't. And I'm like, we can't watch this show.
Yeah, it was a lot of blood, and I was thinking more like they'd talk to them like in Psych, like it's funny. It wasn't funny. No. All right, we covered a lot in this episode. We hope you enjoyed hanging out with us as much as we enjoyed hanging out with you. We will see you same time, same place next week. And until then,
keep building your best life.
See you guys.
Bye.
Oh my God.
I thought you were going to say
Why do you never pay attention to me?
Because I get distracted. It's not just you, it's everything. Look at the cat in our yard.
Are you ready to participate?
Yes.
Until then,
keep building your best life.
Why'd you say that like a question?
I got confused. What do I say? Okay, I'm ready.
If I could turn back time. That was special.